What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the all-new 2026 Toyota Rav4. This one is an XSE all-wheel drive hybrid finished off in Meteor Shoer. This one's MSRP is right around $46,000. So comment below, what do you guys think? Did Toyota do a good job with the all-new Rav4? Currently the Rav4 is America's best-selling SUV. So you think this new one is going to continue that reign as such a top seller? So let's go ahead and see what is underneath the hood. Now, hybrids are the only way to go now for the Rav4s. A plug-in hybrid is also available. But this one is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive. This makes net horsepower at 236. The engine makes 163 pound-feet of torque. It's going to have an eCVT for the transmission. Also runs on a 14.5 gallon fuel tank. And you're going to expect 43 miles per gallon in the city with 37 out on the highway. Curb weight's 3,800 pounds, and it can even tow 3,500 pounds. Now, for the styling, I really like these new headlights. You can see this cool running light design. It'll light up white when you're driving. LED headlight beam right there. And then the hammerhead shape for this upper section looks really cool cutting in between those headlights. Yeah, this gloss black trim piece as well. And then I like how we have this kind of like a cheese grater looking grill. I think it looks super cool. Got a forward-facing camera. There's parking sensors, black chrome trim throughout each of these slots, and then gloss black down below with another opening. You're going to see these LED running lights too with this black trim around them. I think it looks really cool. It's just a bit more bold than before, a little bit edgy, a little boxy, but still really sleek, and it just kind of fits this new style nicely. On the hood, we have these really sharp body lines on each side, which again add to that boxier, chunkier style. At the side, I like how everything is finished in a gloss black. There's no cheap plastic. So all that comes into the fender arch, nice angled design, 20-inch gloss black wheels, split 5-spoke, and then the whole rocker panels in the gloss black. Now, some people have commented saying that's all gonna get destroyed if you ceramic coat your car, maybe do some PPF, or just wash your car by hand. That will hold up very well over time. Just gotta take care of your car and it'll last you a lifetime. On the mirrors, you have more gloss black. We have a camera and turn signal, body color door handles, and then black throughout the windows with more of this gray black chrome style trim. You have a two-tone design with this black roof. We have a small sunroof, little roof rails, and then for the overall side profile, I like the sharp lines throughout the doors, the kind of wider fender arches. It's a good proportion overall, and actually right over there is a white hybrid Rav4 as well, the old generation. So you can kind of see it has a similar style to the old one, just a little bit more edgy and boxy. In back, we have a nice set of LED taillights, and yes, it kind of does look like a Nissan Rogue. So I totally see that. I see what you guys are talking about. However, this honestly looks a bit more premium. Rear bumpers all gloss black, and then we have this nice gloss silver. There's gonna be parking sensors, blacked out badging. I like the black section in the center, XSE badge as well. Now you can open up the rear end with that button, the key fob. There's a button on the dash as well. Now, as far as cargo space goes, has a nice bit of room in here, very nice and squared off. We have 37.8 cubic feet behind these seats, and then a little over 70 once you fold it all down. So you can easily grab these. Everything folds nice and flat. And what's impressive, for being a hybrid, you still have a spare tire underneath with some hidden storage. We're gonna see the privacy cover that will pop up into one position, lights, extra storage, and I like how this one's optioned with more storage up here. You're gonna have one button, two handles, so we can very easily close it all down. And then for the interior, once again, all flat folding, really simple. These don't weigh too much, it's actually really easy. And these recline just a little bit, so it gives you just that much extra comfort. This can seat 3 people. We have an armrest and cup holders, air vents, USBs, and storage. And for the XSE, we have this nice suede style as well as the black Softex interior. Now, as far as materials, this is all a soft touch up above, very padded soft touch in the center insert and armrest, a large grab handle with also storage in it, release handle, and then for the seating, there's no storage underneath it. Looks like the battery's gonna be down there, but we have the really nice perforations all throughout it once again, and there's blue stitching. Hopping inside, so sitting here at 5'11", honestly, it's a pretty roomy car. I like how I have a ton of headroom. Got a dome light up there. Driver's seat at my height has plenty of space. Seat is a little low, maybe an inch lower than I'd like, but it's very padded. The recline angle is great, and these windows are huge. So it really fits comfortably in here. I wouldn't have any complaints if I was sitting back here on a long road trip. Great family car, you're not gonna complain at all, especially with kids or friends in the back. You have the smart key, so you can lock and unlock it very easily from the door. And then once again, the softer touch materials up here, this padded material, all of your controls. You also have memory seating, grab handle and storage, more storage. Both front seats are going to be power operated. We even have lumbar support on this driver's seat. All this smooth material, the stitching, all the same designs, and then extra piping up on this front seat. And making my way to the interior, keeping my foot on the brake, let's fire it up. Engine doesn't necessarily always turn on, but you have a nice chime to listen to. You're gonna see a black leather wrapped steering wheel, cool 3-spoke. Controls for the screen, as well as audio and voice commands. Cruise controls all on the right, very easy to operate. Stock on the right side for windshield wipers, stock on the left for headlights and turn signal. Now for the gauge cluster, it's basically got a bunch of presets. So I can just continue left using the control on the steering wheel, and you're gonna see a couple different designs popping up. You have all sorts of your basic information as well. So overall, just a simple design with everything you're gonna need. And then taking a look over here, we have our interior dimming, the tailgate release, a little bit of hard plastic, but then this nice soft touch. Air vent with this metallic gray color, a little bit of harder plastics for the dashboard, but then again, this is a gray metallic finished color, and then this padded design. Hard plastic here and a lot of storage right there. Now for the multimedia system, this is all new for the RAV4. Hopefully Toyota does this in all the other cars. It's customizable, it's really easy to set up. Drive modes will pop up on the screen, which is very nice and easy. We have CarPlay, of course, all wireless. Shortcuts on the left side, full screen nav, your audio, phone, and then of course, all your basic settings. So overall, I think it's a really nice screen. It just looks clean. Climate is pretty much all integrated into here. So we have our temperature and fan speed very easily. You can access on the screen. You can scroll that. You can even tap this. We have heated and ventilated seating. You have a heated steering wheel. Zones are right here. And then we have the volume dial right in the center. So overall, while yeah, it's a lot on the screen, it's actually super easy and simple. We have your trail and snow mode down here. We can toggle, and you're gonna see that popping up on this part. A shortcut to normal mode is right over here. However, your standard drive modes, you can just toggle here. So just like what we saw on the touchscreen, but then again, you can either go to normal or just go to normal. So a little redundant, but makes it easy. EV mode right here, you're gonna see in the bottom left. So if you have the right amount of battery, you can do this in an EV mode, which is really for slow speed driving. Air vents, wireless charging, and storage all down below, which very good for just quick little things. We have a shortcut to the camera system that's gonna pop up. Top-down view, 360 look as well. And then of course, in reverse, we have a good backup camera with that top-down view. You got extra plugs, downhill assist and traction control, storage and cup holders right here. And then you're gonna see automatic brake hold and park and brake. Nice shifter design with a manual shift mode. And once again, this is like that metallic gray trim. Now for the center, this is a little interesting. We have a storage tray. You can flip this completely around, and we now have a padded armrest that opens both directions. My only complaint with the interior is that sounding. This is a little cheap. I would rather just have a standard one, honestly. Everything else actually is a pretty finished material, and it's pretty nice in here. You're gonna see storage over here as well. And then one last look at the interior. XSEs really look cool with the sporty style. Sunroof once again. Sunglass holders are a little small, really for like reading glasses or something. All your glass controls, and there's gonna be garage door buttons underneath your mirror. All right, so setting off now in the all new Toyota RAV4. So just in normal mode, just slowly getting up to speed. So with an eCVT transmission, it actually kind of drives like an electric car with how smooth the acceleration is. The engine is really more of an onboard generator just to keep the battery going and to just keep the power alive. So normal driving gets an exceptionally smooth acceleration. Not exactly a fast car, but you know, when you give it some throttle, it gets up to speed just fine. You're really not gonna have any issues with just your average driving, and you're still gonna get pretty good MPG. Visibility is really good. You have a lot of glass. The mirrors all do a great job. Very easy seeing over your left and right shoulder. Not really any blind spots. overall it's really comfortable. Like, I fit so well in the seat. I'm able to sink it down a little bit, lift up my legs a little. So I fit really nice, especially the memory seating. That's great if you have two people driving this constantly. Now, I do hear a little bit of wind noise over here. Not sure why that is apparent, but that's the one little thing I'm noticing. Other than that, though, it's pretty smooth over the bumps. Pretty quiet car overall. I really like this steering too. A lot of crossovers, you know, are kind of robotic. This feels a bit more mechanical, like a real SUV, even though it is technically a crossover. But the steering has some weight to it that actually makes it a little bit more lively to drive and a little bit more mechanical instead of just a robot. So I like that to it. In sport mode, giving it some gas once again. Just giving it half throttle. You know, it's a little bit zippier than in the eco mode. And I like how you do have the shortcut to go to normal mode if you don't want to just keep cycling through. But it seems to be a pretty comfortable car to just commute in, to daily drive. It's sized very well in the interior to where I just fit well, and it's easy to put things where you need it to go. And then all the things you touch in here, you know, a lot of it are nice materials. So you're really not feeling any cheap plastics. Only downside is just this rattles a little bit. So maybe take that apart and put some felt or something on the plastic portion. So that's my only complaint. Everything else feels pretty tough. There's nothing like squeaking or anything. It feels like a very finished interior with nice use. Using the multimedia screen while driving, while I'm not really a fan of touchscreen climate, because you have this padded area here, you can kind of rest your hand and then easily make your controls without having to try to like balance your hand while you're hitting buttons. So I find this pretty easy to use, even though it's telling me I'm not paying attention, which is the one complaint some people have with touchscreen. You kind of have to take your eyes off the road versus just toggling. But honestly, you kind of get used to this system, especially since we have the physical buttons here where I can just put my finger on it and I know I'm hitting it and keep my eyes ahead. You're not really doing fan speed much. It seems like leave it on low and the car is just staying very nice. So I think it's overall a good setup, and the screen itself, it looks really good. I don't really see any lag. It seems pretty snappy the way you would want to, and just kind of has everything. CarPlay works as you would expect as well. Now, slow speed driving, you're gonna have basically electric mode. The engine won't turn on. You can of course go into EV mode and it'll still kick on if you give it a bit more throttle. But again, you can just kind of zip around slow speeds without having the engine turn on, which is a really good plus for, you know, more of an economy car like this, something that's gonna be your daily driver. So I think overall, Toyota did a really cool job just making this a nice car at the end of the day. I don't really have any issues that jump out at me. It seems like a pretty solid choice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind just having a standard armrest, as much as it's cool, kind of a gimmick, but other than that, I mean, I think it's a really solid car. Turning circle is tight even with the all-wheel drive version, and if you want more horsepower, you can get a plug-in hybrid, which gives you like 30-something miles of electric range. So there's so many trims, so many price points, and it drives really nice overall.